The Inquisitor staff is the best in slot magic weapon at next AoD excluding minions, KBD, QBD, Giant Maul, most of Virago, Solak, Telos and a bunch of the God Wars dungeon bosses. But how good is it for Slayer? There are many Slayer creatures susceptible to the Inquisitor staff. In this video I'll cover how good it is for Slayer, so when you're ready grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and enjoy. Now you may or may not know that Slayer is a primarily melee dominated skill. That is because usually melee is the best combat style to use for the majority of the tasks because you have so much damage potential using AoE abilities and a lance, scythe, Masuda's war spear and so on. But since the Inquisitor staff gives you extra damage and accuracy against melee class enemies, leading it to being a tier 97-ish weapon, I thought it would be interesting to see how it would fare against a variety of Slayer monsters. First up, manifest shadow creatures in the personal owned Slayer dungeon. And to be honest, they were just as easy to AFK using magic and a vampirism aura than to AFK them using melee. The only thing here was I forgot my spring cleaner, so I kind of had to, pick up the salvage and stuff, which kind of sucked. But it really works well here. It's surprised me straight off the bat how well it works here. You are able to get 648 kills per hour using the Inquisitor staff here, which leads it to being 602,000 Slayer experience per hour, and with melee you only get around 24 more kills per hour. So the difference between me using Trim Masterwork and a Scythe here compared to using Subjugation and Inquisitor staff isn't that big. These were both AFK tests, by the way. So that was quite interesting to see that for this task, it's very viable to do with magic, especially because you have the extra damage with the Inquisitor staff. Next up, we have Ripper Demons, and Ripper Demons are actually quite nice to do with the Inquisitor staff. Given that you don't accidentally chain multiple of them, it works extremely well. I would say Ripper Demons with magic are a little easier than doing them with melee because you can reposition yourself pretty much instantly. Avoiding the instant kill attacks is slightly easier and you can keep attacking the Ripper Demon while running away. Their death spin is also easily avoided. And I got 50 more kills per hour, I'm not even kidding. I got 50 more kills per hour using the magic staff than with melee. I don't do these often so I don't have too many sample sizes, but that's a pretty big difference from 590k Slayer experience per hour to around 735. That's significant for sure. On top of that, the money per hour goes up because you're getting more kills per hour as well. You're getting more binding contracts, you're getting more loot in general, which is nice. So I would say the Inquisitor staff is definitely an option for Ripper Demons. That being said, even with the Inquisitor staff, I still think Ripper Demons are a crappy task in terms of fun. They're really annoying to do. You eat through a lot of food if you don't devotion in time and stuff. I would still avoid these. If you don't like Ripper Demons with melee right now, this staff won't change that much. It might only boost your kills per hour. It won't necessarily make these easier to kill. They're just as annoying using the Inquisitor staff and a magic setup. But yeah, it works well here. Now remember how I said that these were my favorite tasks in the game in my top 5 Slayer task video? Well, how about Wyverns with magic? In my Wyverns guide, I suggest you don't use magic. But really, it's quite viable. Let me explain. Now one thing I will say straight away is I do have the Dragon Slay ability, but I didn't use it. Just, before anyone says it in the comments. Now, Wyverns with magic is dangerous. The reason it's dangerous is because at range, Wyverns will hit you with massive attacks, massive hits. And you should be worried about it. But if you bring along a melee main hand and offhand weapon, or just a two-handed weapon, you can barge onto them and get into melee distance, meaning you're going to be avoiding those big hits. And this makes killing Wyverns with magic, or ranged for that matter, quite doable, and in fact it's fairly good in terms of experience as well. I got 336 kills per hour throughout this entire task in terms of kill rate, which is pretty good. It's better than most people probably killing them with melee. I've done a melee test recently for another video where I got over 350 kills per hour, so it's slightly worse than melee, but this is definitely very, very viable, and it works well here. So if you want to mage wyverns, you want some more fun, you want to barge onto them, then use your wild magic, asphyxiate. It works, it's rewarding, 630k plus Slayer experience per hour, big money per hour. If you're using the Death Note relic and you're using the upgraded Bone Crusher, you automatically pick up the bones and note them, making this task even more chill. And because I like doing wyverns so much, even though I don't get them that often as a task until I can pick my own task from IKEA Girl, these are fairly fun to do with magic. I did die once, which kind of sucked. That was because I didn't bring a shield along and I couldn't res the ranged hits, and yeah, I got killed pretty quickly. So you really want to pay attention to you being in melee distance. There's a chance of you being one tile away and you'll still get hit with those big hits. So be sure to stand in melee distance. The best way to do that is of course to barge. You can also manually walk underneath them and then you're sure you're in melee distance and you're safe. As for Archeron Mammoths or Acheron Mammoths, same thing, you need to actually bring along a barge switch, because if you're not in melee distance, they will knock off your prayer, use special attacks more often. It's really annoying. I found that out by trying them out. I kind of forgot that was the reason you want to do these with melee mainly. So you can also do Acheron Mammoths with magic. I didn't get as many kills, I think like 125 kills per hour. With melee, I can get way more, like 175 kills per hour. So I wouldn't really try these with magic. It's just more effort for nothing. Just do these with melee instead. Grab your Drygores, barge onto them, and do them that way instead. They also work on dinosaurs, so Ripper, Venomous, and so on, but again, do these with melee. Venomous dinosaurs especially, it's way better using all that coil on a scythe. I just added a little clip in here. I wouldn't do these with magic, even with the Inquisitor staff. Melee is just so much better for the dinosaurs on Anachronia. They also work on corrupted scarabs, scorpions, workers, so the melee classed ones, and the crocodile axe, for example, from the Soul Devourers. Though, with the Soul Devourers, there's no chance you're going to be able to AFK them, so again, they'll be better done with melee, because you can use a Vampirism Scrimshaw, which you can't use with magic. The Vampirism Aura will not be enough to heal you. However, with corrupted creatures, it will be enough to heal you, and you can kill them successfully. In fact, you kill them quicker than with melee if you're AFKing and not switching weapons, at 888 kills per hour, compared to around 820 using a scythe. Apart from being good for AFK farming corrupted creatures, it is also surprisingly good for farming spiritual warriors in your personal Enslayer dungeon using a spring cleaner to make some AFK money, as it is the best in slot weapon for spiritual warriors. So if you ever want to do spiritual warrior AFK farming for money, this might be a weapon you can look into. The Inquisitor staff also works on moss golems, so if you like killing them one by one, or you somehow manage to stay alive using a cannon and magic gear, you can do that too. But if you're going to mass farm them with the sweaty method, you're again better off with melee for sure. It does work though one-on-one, so if you do want to kill moss golems one-on-one, it is an option. If you're interested in a full list of creatures or enemies susceptible against the Inquisitor staff, you can look that up on the wiki, or just look in the description of this video where I will post the link as well. With that being said, I think I've covered what I wanted to cover in this video. The Inquisitor staff is a great staff for some Slayer tasks, and it can even beat out melee in some of those tasks. So, if you're interested in buying an Inquisitor staff for the bossing aspect of it, please consider trying out Slayer using this staff as well, because it is pretty powerful. If you plan to get this staff purely for Slayer, I would say don't do that unless you're going for 120, because it is a 333 million GP staff. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.